Funny you mentioned performance contracting, because that is, within the state, my other job. As well as being the director of the Utility Savings Initiative for the state, I handle all performance contracting for the state. For state agencies and universities, they have to come through me. For community colleges, K-12 schools, and local governments, I come on request. You only have to just call, and I'll be there. I have been talking with Maggie Ullman up at Asheville. We're working closely with her, so we'll get into that down the line. Just very quickly, we've mentioned back in the 70s the oil embargo. Well, that's when the Energy Office came into being. The government, federal government, went after the oil companies during that period and sued them, and a settlement was created, and out of that settlement there were petroleum violation escrow accounts set up for all of the states. And that is what funded the State Energy Office until 2007. In 2007, we had finally used up all of those monies, hopefully wisely, and we had to go to the local legislature and say we need funding now. Our program, the Utility Savings Initiative, is now funded through state appropriations. The other part, we are the lead agency for renewable alternative fuels, energy emergency response, and energy efficiency. So we have experts within the office on all of these. My specialty is energy efficiency. The background of our program, it was a lead by example program that was initiated in response to a budget crisis. Sounds familiar, right? But this was the one back in 2002. The governor had a commission on government efficiency and savings, and lo and behold, they determined that energy was a manageable expense. You know, amazing things that people come up with. Memorandum was sent out to the Council of State, and originally our programs were directed only to state agencies and the UNC system, the universities and the affiliates. And our office was tapped to go ahead and guide the agencies. I've been a part of this program since it began. I started, though, when I was with NC State University on the other side. I was there implementing these programs at the university level as a user, rather than at the Energy Office. I made one too many visits to the State Energy Office and was converted to the dark side. So that's how I ended up where I am. You've heard about Senate Bill 668. Well, 668 got actually split into two separate pieces. In 2007, it became Session Law 2007-546, and that dealt with existing buildings. And that is the heart of our program. 20% reduction by 2010 and a 30% reduction by 2015. Reduction for what? It's from a baseline year from where the program started, of fiscal year 2002-2003. Because we have such rapid growth in the state, especially on the universities, I don't know of a campus that you can go on to that you don't see 2 or 3 buildings being constructed. We determined that we would index this by gross square feet. So our reduction isn't an outright absolute reduction in energy consumption, but energy consumption per gross square foot per year. Right now we are at about a 12% reduction. Not too bad. Unfortunately, in that same period, energy costs have gone up by 34%. And we have gone from about 95 million square feet in the agencies and universities to over 106 million square feet. So if you look at it from a percentage basis, we're barely keeping up. And in fact, we aren't. We're growing faster than we're saving. And that's the challenge. We've also mentioned the new construction portions. That is now, if you want to look it up, Session Law 2008-2000 or 203. 30% on new construction, 20% on major renovations. And that's from our existing building code, which is ASHRAE 90.1 2004 edition. How do we do it? These are all of the programs that are available to our UC partners. And I probably have these in backwards now, but our programs now extend to all public sectors. Everything we do is available to the agencies, the university system, community colleges, K-12 public schools, and county and municipal governments. So how do you start? Well, we look at utility accounting, and that's really looking at what you're buying or what you're using. How much of that energy? If you don't measure it, if you don't track it, how are you going to control it? You make a change in your building. Was it a good change or a bad change? How do you know unless you're out there looking at the meter and see whether it goes down or whether it goes up? There are things that you think are very, very good ideas. And when you execute them, your energy consumption goes up. Well, you don't want to wait a year before you find that out. Find it out the next day. Our office, we ourselves will conduct preliminary and detailed energy surveys for any person that's one of our partners. We also have contracts with universities and with a group called Waste Reduction Partners that Margie should be very familiar with out in Asheville, and they're opening an office now in the central part of the state. Retired engineers and scientists that will go out and do this work for us. We'll contract with them. So you need energy audits? What's the condition of your building? What's your first step? What do you do? What's wrong with your building? Well, you got to have somebody, a professional, come in and identify it. We'll help you with that. Strategic energy planning. All right, I know what's wrong with my building. I've had the audit. What do I do with that information? We conduct one-day workshops on how to put together an effective energy plan. So that now you've got the roadmap to help you get from here to California with your headlights off. Headlights on.
Headlights on.
It's more fun with the headlights off. One of the most effective things that we have seen instituted, even in agencies and universities, community colleges, is a conservation action team. Now, we used to call it an awareness team. I think people are aware now, so we need action. So we kept the CAT team there, but changed the awareness to action. We'll come out, we'll speak to employees, we'll talk to students, we'll talk to faculty. I hope you understand, I'm passionate about this. I get fired up about this. I'm into this. We want to get that same enthusiasm built up. You can't succeed if you don't have everybody on board and everybody moving in the same direction, or at least not trying to move in an opposite direction. These are very effective teams and ways to make things work.